Hi, everybody. All right, today is the 9th of November, so I'm going to go over what we did on this Monday. So we started our morning meeting with our Go Noodle morning movement, and we read the book Scapegoat. Then in math today, we talked about decimals, and we talked about addition word problems. We reviewed addition rules. Oh, actually, let me bring up. They're right here in the assignment. So if you go to Google Classroom, Monday through Friday math, open up your assignment. This is something that we're using all week. And so for Monday, this is what we did. So we reviewed the rules. So we can use this anchor chart to help us out. So the first rule is to line them up. So whenever you have digits, you've got your decimal points. You want to line everything up according to its place value. So everything in the ones place, everything in the tenths, everything in the hundreds, all lines up. Then you're going to drop your decimal down. Then you're going to fill them in. So if you've got like right here, this hundreds place has, if you look here up at the top, it has nothing there. So anything that has an opening, you can fill them in with those placeholder zeros. Then you're ready to add or you're ready to subtract. So today's lesson, we started on page 203 and we worked from 203 to 207. We did some random problems throughout there. And then independent work was on page 208, 13 to 18 were the questions. So then whenever you're done with those questions in your book, you insert your answers here. So this is in your blue volume 1, open to page 208, and you have questions that are multiple choice. You're going to put your answer. So if 13 is A, you're going to just type A there. If 13 is B, you're going to type B all the way down. So this page should be done. The next page is Tuesday, so stop once you finish Monday, and you're done with your independent work. So let me open up a whiteboard. All right, so some important things that we talked about today with adding, let me see here. All right, there it goes. Okay, so some important things that we talked about is just really filling in. So when we have, let's say we have 5 plus 4.23. Okay, so we talked about looking at these numbers and really thinking about what they are. The 5, I noticed that there's no decimal point. So because there's no decimal point, I have to add it in there. So this means that the 5 is 5 wholes. So this 5 is in the ones place, meaning right next to it, we know that there's a decimal. And if there's no tenths, then I can just put a 0. And if there's no hundredths, I could just put a 0. I want it to match this 4.23. I want them to have the same number of digits. Okay, so I'm lining them up. And I'm going to add these. I can drop down so the decimals are lined up. I've got a decimal here, right on top, another decimal. So these decimals are lined up. I already filled in my zeros, and everything's already lined up. I can drop down my decimal. Okay, so see how they're all in a line. And then I just add 0 and 3 is 3, 0 and 2 is 2 decimals, and 4 and 5 is 9. So 9 and 23 hundredths. So again, the biggest thing here that we practice on those pages is paying attention. If you don't have a decimal point, you just add it right in there. Okay, it's hiding right behind the ones place. All right, so we did practice problems in there, and then students worked on those questions. And in small group, we talked about the word problems. So let me open one of the word problems I wanted to talk about. 208. All right, so on number 16, it says the distance from Jeff's house to his uncle's house is 12.58 miles. Then it says if he travels another 9.49 miles, he's going to reach grandma's house. So on these, when you're going from one place to another, it helps me to just kind of draw it out. And instead of just writing out the names, I just abbreviate. So from Jeff, so I just put a J for Jeff. From Jeff's house to his uncle's house, put U for uncle. It's 12 and 58 hundredths of a mile. Then if he travels another, so he's going to go this far, and then he's going to keep going to get to grandma's house, put G for grandma, and that's 9 and 49 hundredths of a mile. So then it says, what's the distance from Jeff's house to grandma's house? Well, Jeff's house to grandma's house is all of this amount. So it's the 12 and 58 hundredths and the 9 and 49 hundredths. Okay, so to get the total, we're going to add those together. So here again, I want to make sure that these decimal points are lined up. They're right on top of each other. I'm going to just drop it down. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, right straight down in a line. And then I just add like normal. I'm going to add my hundredths together. I'm going to add my tenths together. I'm going to add my ones together. And then I'm going to add my tens together. And here, if you need to regroup, all you do, 9 plus 18 is 17, but we know we have to regroup. You just go to the very next column, so 17. Then here, when you get here and you're at your tenths, you regroup over to the ones. So 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 4 more is 10. Write your 0, regroup over to the ones place. Okay, 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 2 more is 12, regroup, and 1 is 2. So 22 and 7 hundredths. So pay attention to the regrouping. It just like whole numbers, you just skip right over, you jump over the decimal point and go to that ones place. But pay attention with these questions. Make sure you're paying attention to what is going on in the story. So when you read them, really try to understand what the story is about before you go to try to start just doing a whole bunch of numbers. Okay, so make sure there's 2 on the bottom that are multi-step. So make sure you pay attention to those. Okay, all right, leave that. All right, and I'll talk about that in a second. So that's your assignments on Google Classroom. Then on the agenda, all right, we reviewed that, we did that. All right, into reading. So reading is in Seesaw. Under activities, go to week 13, reading, whole group, and independent. All right, so here we talked about, we're talking this week about autobiographies and biographies. So we broke it down. Auto means self, bio, life, graph is to write. So this is a story about someone's life written by that person. So we're writing about someone's life and they're writing about themselves. Biography is bio, life, graph is to write. So this is a story about someone's life, but it's written about someone else. So you're writing about someone's life. So here we read Bessie Coleman and Me. So we read this story, and then we talked about whether or not it was a biography or an autobiography. Then we did a Venn diagram. So this is your independent work. So here you're going to take these. On the left-hand side, you have biography. So anything that is only specific to biography, you're going to put here. Anything that is specific to autobiography, you're going to put on the right-hand side. And things that they have in common are going to go into the middle here. Okay, so biography on the left, autobiography on the right. Things that they have in common are here. Then this other Bessie Coleman we're going to read tomorrow. So stop at page 4. So again, you're doing the Venn diagram. You need to read the story and say why you think it's a biography or an autobiography. and then review these first 2 pages about what is what. All right, so that was for reading. Then also in reading, this is not going to be due until the where is it? Fluency check. This is due on Friday. So there's just 2 readings here, a cool mood and then getting energy. So you just record yourself reading the following that's in the box, and we're practicing fluency. So make sure you're speaking clear. Make sure you're not reading like a robot. Make sure you're not reading very slow. You want to not speed read, but have that happy medium, and do your best. You might want to do a practice round before you record, and then do it again and record so it sounds really nice and very fluent, and then turn that in. It's due Friday, so some started it today and got it out of the way. Others will need to pick another day and do that. Then another week-long thing that we're working on is this autobiography research project. So we started this today. So you're going to visit one of these sites and you're going to choose a famous person to research. We're not picking a YouTuber. We're picking someone meaningful that's actually done, just someone, famous throughout history that's really made a name for themselves, not just someone that's famous for making videos on YouTube. So pick someone. You can go to websites like these 3 on the top. We'll give you some ideas if you can't think of someone. So you go down, and there's all kinds of people here. So let's say I pick Cesar Chavez. I can read all about information about him. This is his biography here. And then what you're going to do, so once you pick your person, that's your first step. Then you're going to go and you're going to open, and the whole first part is the biography part. So you're going to talk about your person. So basic facts about your person, more facts, write down facts that you learned about your famous person that may not be included in that first page. You could draw a picture of your famous person, or you can find one and add it in. A timeline of important events throughout their life, obstacles and problems. So, for example, today we read about Bessie Coleman, and we talked about how it was challenging for her because at the time she was wanting to get her pilot's license, but because of the color of her skin, she was not able to do that. So she had to leave America and go all the way to Paris in order to get her license. So that was an obstacle and a problem that she had to overcome. So something like that. Then character traits. And then here is a question and answer. So let's say I'm doing Bessie Coleman. I'm going to think of a question that I could ask her. Then it says, close your eyes and pretend you are that famous person. How would you answer that question? So you're going to picture that you're them. What do you think that they would say is the answer? So question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, 4 of those. A famous quote by your person. And then now you're going to switch gears, and now you're going to talk about yourself. So we know that a biography is written about someone else. Now it's your turn to make an autobiography about yourself. Remember that auto means self. So you're going to do the same similar things. Basic facts about you, drawing a picture or adding in a photo of you, timeline. Maybe you've got some important things that happen throughout your life. You can ask your family to help you if you're kind of stuck on here. Important events, obstacles, problems that you've overcome in your life, character traits, question and answer, question and answer. You can come up with a famous quote. And then here at the very last part, you're going to compare yourself with the famous person that you picked. So if I pick Bessie Coleman, I'm going to put things like I could put Bessie on the left-hand side. I could put myself on the right, things that are just specific to her. So for example, Miss Snyder's not a pilot. Miss Snyder's a teacher. So I could put that she's a pilot and that I am a teacher. So that's something that we have that's different. Then I'm going to find things that we have that are in common, and I'm going to put them in the beginning or in the middle. Okay, so different on the outside, same things that we have in common on the in the middle. Okay, so again, all these pages at the end are about you, the autobiography, about yourself. The whole first part is about your person that you picked. We're working on this all week long. So we have 5 days. So if you do about 4 pages a day, you'll be ready to go to turn in by Friday. And again, these are websites. These first 3 are some. You don't have to just pick, you don't just have to go to this one page and get all your information in this one page. You can go here, then you could go to Epic, type in Cesar Chavez, see if there's anything else there that's about him. It doesn't have to be just one site. You can get information, pull it from different places, and add it all together to make it look really nice. All right, so that was reading. Where's my agenda? There it is. All right, in writing today, we worked on our benchmark review, and then we did our seesaw writing. We're still working on introductions. I told the kids that we're going to keep hanging out in introductions till I feel like the majority of the class is ready to move on to the body. We're not quite there, so we're still practicing. So here, let me pull up mine. All right, so here we did this first page. All right, so this first page, on the left-hand side, we have let me move me up here. We have our prompt page. So this is your directions. This is everything that you need to tell you what to do. It says to write about your favorite type of music, explain why it's your favorite, and how it makes you feel. So here we did our topic brainstorm, where we brainstormed about the topic. This topic's about the type of music. So we brainstormed different types of music and wrote them there. Then I highlighted the one that I'm going to pick and write about. And then over here, we did our 3 practices. So we practiced writing it with a question, funnel, and an anecdote. So here, when you do a question, where the thing that I'm seeing us continue to do is, number one, we're continuing to put reasons in our introduction. The introduction, we just need to introduce, we need to start it off with a hook, and then we need our central idea where we tell the reader what our favorite type of music is. So here, we're making it too complicated. We need to simplify it and be more direct and just get straight to the point. What is your favorite type of music? My favorite type of music is pop. Let me tell you why. And then that's it. You just stop there. You don't need to give any reasons about why pop is your favorite. You just stop there. Those reasons will come in the following paragraph, but we're not there yet. We're stuck on this introduction because we're just trying to make it too complicated. Straight to the point. Funnel, again, the funnel has a very distinct structure. And you can use this with just about, I haven't really found a prompt that you can't use this. You can just change it and make it fit whatever your topic is about. So it says, there are so many different types of music that I like, such as rock, techno, and hip hop. However, pop music is my favorite type. Keep reading to find out why. Again, just an example of how I could change this. I was talking in class about ice cream, so I could change it. There are so many different types of ice cream that I like, such as chocolate, vanilla, and Rocky Road. However, cookies and cream is my favorite type. Keep reading to find out why. There are so many different things that I like about 4th grade, such as blank, blank, and blank. However, blank is my favorite thing in 4th grade. Keep reading to find out why. So whatever your topic is, if you use that just structure of there are so many different types of whatever your topic is, such as blank, blank, and blank. However, blank is my favorite. And the thing, we're getting pretty good at it because we've been doing it, and we're getting the hang of that structure. But the thing that I saw last week also is this word favorite. So favorite comes up very often in our prompt. And whenever we write, like, listen how silly this sounds. There are many different types of There are many different. No, let me try again. There are. I have many different. Or I'm trying to word it how you guys were wording it. I have. What did y'all say? I lost my train of thought. Something you were putting favorite twice. So it was like I have a lot of favorite types of music, such as rock, techno, and hip hop. However, pop music is my favorite. And it was confusing to me because you were saying all of these other things are my favorite, and this is my favorite. You want to distinctify between the two. You can't say these are all my favorite and this is my favorite. You want to have them separate. So you like all these other things, but however, this one is my favorite. Same thing with the ice cream. You wouldn't say vanilla, chocolate, and cookies, or vanilla, chocolate, and Rocky Road is my favorite. However, my favorite is cookies and cream. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to say, I like these. However, this one is my favorite. All right. Then this last part, the anecdote, remember, it's just a short little story, just to give that personal perspective, personal connection with your reader. So I said, again, it's got to be connected to the topic. The topic is music. I said the first concert I went to was the Backstreet Boys. I can still remember all the fun I had that night. Since then, pop has always been my favorite type of music. Keep reading to find out more. So here, what I'm seeing us do, we have these amazing stories. They're actually really, really good, but there's no connection. Okay. So the part where if I would have just said the first concert I went to was the Backstreet Boys, I can still remember all the fun I had that night. Pop music is my favorite music. Keep reading to find out more. There's not really a connection between my story and what I said. The reader can infer, but I don't want them to infer. I want it to be very obvious what my connection is. So when I put since then, so since then, meaning since that concert, pop has always been my favorite. I'm putting those together. I'm combining those two ideas. I'm making that connection. So having that is important. So those three boxes is what we did. Going over our introductions. So make sure you have those three boxes filled out with each type, with this prompt all about. So each one is about music. Then go back over and look. If we want to move on from introductions and get to the body, we cannot go back and look. Do I have a question? Do I have my central idea? Do I have my funnel? Do I have my central idea? Do I have my little story? Do I have my central idea? Okay, the central idea is answering what type of favorite music you have. If you have, I like pop because, or pop is cool because, or hip hop is my favorite because, or the reason I like techno is because, that's not the place. This is the introduction. That's not where we put. This is just the very first part of our page. We're not there yet. So take out all the reasons. And then once we get past that, then Ms. Snyder will feel confident that we are ready to move on. Okay. All right, let me draft this. Next up, we have benchmark review. So benchmark review has another home over here. Benchmark writing review. So here we did the first passage, now or never, and we looked at these first two questions. And the big thing is, guys, is that we really practice not just looking for the correct answer. We got rid of the ones that we said, you know what, we can take these out. They don't fit, they don't make sense for our story, and get down to those two. So here we got down to B and C. And then I told the kids, I'm like, it's like a battle where those two answer choices are battling it out. You're trying to see which one's the strongest one, which one, because they both are correct. Okay. But one of them, he wants to strengthen the focus. So one of them, even though they both could be correct and they could both belong in the paper, one of them is stronger. And so you have to see how does this one connect more than the other? How is it stronger? Here, this is talking about the meaning of a word is unclear. So here, when you change these words, you're changing the first part and you're leaving, you're taking out the first part and you're replacing it with the second word. So we went and we did that with every single one. We liked F, so then we went on to G. We're like, that doesn't make it clear. That's changing it from cliff to just saying over there on the spot. That doesn't make any sense. changing him to them. We talked about, no, we're only talking about one person, so that doesn't make it clear. So going through and really thinking about why answers are wrong will really help you. So we did those 2 questions and read that part. And then that was what we did for writing. And then for science today, we started talking about natural resources. So there's a song on here we were playing while everybody was getting in, so you can play that. You just click the link there and it'll take you straight to it. And then on Seesaw, let me find science. So week 13 science. Oops. Open my giraffe instead. I don't know why this takes so long. All right. So we had all these items in the box and we were pulling them out one at a time, and we were looking at the items in the box and we were guessing their natural resource. So let me get this all the way opened. So natural resources are things that come from Earth, and we use them. It says right here, we use these things to help us live easier and to help us survive. So all of these things were in the box, and we just dragged them out, separated them, and we wrote down each of the resources. So air, water, plant, soil. The shoes are made of leather. And so this leather comes from animals, oil, natural gas. All of these things come from Earth, and we use them in our daily lives, either like water, air, things to help us survive, plants we eat, or to make things in life easier. Okay, so we talked about that. Then we talked about things that we're going to go over with this unit. So we read this quote here: everything we use comes from our natural resources. The earth is the source for all of it. So the key concepts that we're going to make sure that we learn throughout this unit are that renewable resources, so these things called natural resources, we can break them off into 2 groups. And one of the groups is called renewable resources, and those include air, plants, water, and animals, and they are generally replaceable within a lifetime. The other category is non renewable, which include coal, oil, and natural gas, and those cannot be replaced within a lifetime. Then the other part of this is all of those resources, whether they're renewable or non, we have to make sure that we conserve and protect both of them, and that we're not using up our resources quicker than they can be replaced. Questions that we're going to consider, that we're going to be asking throughout this and answering: what are they and what makes them renewable? What are non-renewable and what makes them non-renewable? So understanding things that go in each category, and then why are they there? What classifies something as renewable? What classifies something as non-renewable? And then what responsible decisions concerning conservation can we do for both the renewable and the non-renewable resources? All right, then we created a thank you card for Earth. We are thanking Earth for all the things that it gives us, such as water, wind, power, plants that grow and give us food, and animals that grow to also provide us food. So students decorated this thank you card, and they didn't just write simple like thank you Earth. They were specific with what they were thankful for. All right, so they hit draft after that because the rest will be working on throughout the week. And then in social studies today, we worked on the week 13. You can click this and make a copy. This had some photos and different things that you can look at and read about some of the different mission sites. And these were artifacts that were found. So you can click that. When it comes up, it'll say make a copy. You just make a copy. Then your week 13 is in Google Classroom. Click on that. and you have 2 pages for Monday, so this has 3 questions total. So number 1 is you're looking at this diagram. You've got problem and solution. So solution, it says the Apaches asked the Spanish government to build a mission for them in their homeland. And so that's the solution. That's how they're solving the problem. So the part that you're missing is what goes in this empty box. What is the problem? Then number 2, you're talking about this word fierce. So you're reading the sentence. What does the word fierce mean? Number 3, we did together. So we talked about words that need to be capitalized. So you can look at that there. Spanish, these things that are specific groups, those need to be capitalized. And places, specific places need to be capitalized. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then hit X on that because again, we're working on that all week. Don't turn it in yet. And then the last thing, we have a test on Friday. So all this week, if you look at the agenda, all this week we are reviewing during our intervention time for decimals. So if you go to Google Classroom, there's an activity here called adding and subtracting decimals. We did a review, and then students did that, and we're having a little contest seeing who can get the highest score on this, and they're going to get to do something fun for announcements tomorrow morning. So make sure you're on time for announcements at 7:30, and we'll do something fun with that. And that was our day. So please let me know if you have any questions. Please go back. Grades were due today for the first progress report. So if you scroll down all the way down to week 10, this is where our grading period started. Go make sure all of these, see how mine are green? Yours should all be like a very light color green or grayish almost. Make sure that all of those things are done. Same thing with 11, make sure all those are done. Same thing with 12, make sure all those are done. You can go check your up at the top under classwork, view your work, make sure you're happy with your grades, and then go to Seesaw, go to your activities. Make sure everything in your activities that's supposed to be complete is done. Things that say week 13, those can sit there because we're still working on them this week, but everything that says 10, 11, and 12, those should all be turned in and done. And again, make sure you look on your comments on them and see if you have any corrections. Over here where it says inbox, if I leave you a comment, it sends it there. So you can go and check on that and then click it, and it takes you straight to the assignment that needs corrected. Alrighty? All right, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.